I know you gonna dig this.
Get funky with me.
What's going on, everybody? Whoa! Welcome to Hastings-on-Hudson, which is a little town just north of Yonkers, which is just north of Manhattan, New York City. And this cemetery, there's about 3 different ones, and they all stretch really far down here. I think I found the right entrance. This is very odd. Sawmill Parkway right there on the other side. I think this is US 9. But yeah, it's a little hamlet, and it's really, really beautiful out here. I've been to many different graves and cemeteries out in this area. There's so many famous people outside of New York City, just in various cemeteries. And like I said, there's 3 right along here. It's very kind of confusing. I'm here to visit Tony Randall's grave. We're going to drive up. It's a giant hill. Let me show you the hill. We're going to go up and talk about Tony Randall, the great Tony Randall, and pay our respects. And just gotta get up this hill. Whew. This way. Doesn't look like much, but it's pretty steep. But we're gonna drive it. But beautiful rock wall, outdoor crypts, and yeah. From what I can tell, it stretches really far, because when I was down over there, I saw mausoleums peppered off in the distance. Okay, let's go. Well, normally I'd have music playing right now, as I probably already did, or clips of Tony, but I can't explain how difficult this is to get to his grave. I've gone in circles because I know that the road is roped off toward where his grave is, and thinking I could find another route through the cemetery. It's huge, and no, you cannot. So it's looking like I'm going to have to park and then walk up into the area where I believe Tony Randall is. But, I mean, you can just see we were way over there when I started. This is huge. Westchester Hills Cemetery. Wow. Okay, well, we're going to do our best. As you can see, I guess it's because the road is really bad. The roads are very bad in this cemetery. But I'm thinking I can get to it by walking up here. It must be because these roads are just brutal. Tony Randall, The Odd Couple. He won an Emmy for The Odd Couple. That's what he's best known as. Felix, of course, on The Odd Couple. The Odd Couple was a show that I hate when people say like before my time. I wouldn't know that. But it was before my time. But it wasn't like, so was Brady Bunch, so was Gilligan's Island. But I saw all those shows. They had them on after school and all that. But The Odd Couple was this show that was never really, I mean, I'm sure it was in syndication, but I never got to see. The way I knew it was because of his appearances on David Letterman. He always came out, and him and Dave had a lot of fun together. He was in 3 of the Rock Hudson, Doris Day movies. He died in May 2004. Whoa. Doesn't look that steep, but it's steep. Oh boy. Yeah, he died in May 2004. He had coronary bypass surgery, then he caught pneumonia, and he died in his sleep. So let me take a look. He's supposed to be around here somewhere. Okay. Yeah, that was a little bit of a tough hill for me, but I'm okay. I believe he's just right around here by one of these buildings. As far as I know, it's a flat stone. And I actually met Tony Randall. I'm going to tell you the story of that as soon as we get there. Well, I think Tony Randall is going to be right around down here somewhere. When he was married, I think in the 90s, Rudy Giuliani officiated his marriage. Where is Tony Randall? He has 2 children. I can tell you that. I know that. This is weird. Always look for the one that is maybe has more rocks or something. My car is just down there, and I walked all the way around. Here he is. There he is. Tony Randall, right there with Jack Klugman, The Odd Couple. I believe that's the 5th season, it says. Tony Randall, beloved husband, father, friend, and actor. February 26, 1920 to May 17th, 2004. Wow. So there is a pin on Find a Grave that leads to his grave, and it's pretty much right behind this giant mausoleum that says Cohen on the outside. And here's Tony Randall. Like I said, I don't think The Odd Couple was really in syndication. Maybe not where I was in Toronto, but I know my parents definitely knew it, and I knew of it. But it wasn't one of those shows that I got to watch after school. It was never on, really. It was all other shows from around that time that were in syndication. But yeah, I knew him from David Letterman, Pillow Talk, the movie, which I'd seen. And he had that persona, the stuffy, snobby New York persona that he played so well. This is a true story. I've been trying to get a hold of my friend John today. I talked to my friend, one of my best friends, John in Toronto. I talk to him almost every day. And but today, of all days, I said I was going to call him today for a special reason, and he didn't answer the phone, which means he's working. He's busy. So John, come on. John and I, we used to go to New York City all the time, party. Because Toronto and New York City is not too far from each other. And so John and I used to travel a lot together and drink and go to bars, the whole thing. And but we'd also do stuff like I do on YouTube. I take John, my friend Michael, without my ex-girlfriend, which I always drag them to weird places. One place that John and I went to see Jerry Seinfeld's Upper West Side apartment that he had lived in the 80s, when just before Seinfeld was made. Jerry Seinfeld was a very rich man in the 80s before Seinfeld. He was very successful. So he lived in this huge building on the Upper West Side. So I wanted to see it. And we went there. And as we took a couple of pictures. Now, okay, well, I'll get to this part in a second. As we were walking down whatever street it is, I think it's maybe Central Park West. I'll have to ask John to remember. We stopped, and we were staring at somebody, both, and I looked at John. I said, "Is that Tony Randall?" He's like, "Oh my God, it is." He looked exactly like you expect Tony Randall, the whole suit and everything, on a hot summer day in New York City. And now this part is a little strange. This is around 2002, I'd say, roughly. He was an older man and very recognizable, but he was staring at a parking meter that was on the street. I don't even think they have parking meters in New York City anymore. I think they've taken them out and replaced them all with the... No, they do some places. It doesn't matter. And he was talking to it. He was saying something to it and just staring at it and talking to it. And so obviously his mental capacity, maybe, I don't know, or maybe it's an off day or something, or maybe he was... I'm not sure. John, I thought, well, that's weird. And we were staring at him, but we had both... I went through it with my grandfather. He had gone through it with one of his grandparents, so we knew older people with dementia, things like that. I don't think Tony Randall had dementia, though, from what I know of. But no word of a lie. He was having a conversation or talking to the parking meter. But he could have just been muttering to himself. Now that I think back, could have just been, having a day where you're just like, hey, talking to yourself. I don't know. So we thought it was odd. We waited for him and we kind of watched him. Then we went up to him and we said, hello, Mr. Randall. He was very nice, but very Tony Randall-ish. And we asked for a picture. We got a picture. And then when my friend John went to get a picture, I took a picture first. Then he took with him. Then John was second. And he goes, is this going to be much longer? And we were like, oh my God, we're getting, dressed down by Tony Randall. So I'm going to keep up with John, talk to him today, and find out if he has those photos, because I do not. A lot of my photos got damaged, and I had a flood in my parents' basement where I kept a lot of stuff when I moved out. I, kept everything and just stored stuff there. And so I've shown photos on my Instagram of other celebrities I've met and things like that. There is a photo of me with Tony Randall, maybe the negatives John has or something. I don't know if I can insert it here, or maybe one of John even. But that's a true story, meeting Tony Randall. And he was very friendly. He just said, is this going to be much longer? Something like that. Something to that, with that voice. And it was very, very, he was very sweet. And I'm not sure, I'm not making fun of the fact that he was talking to a parking meter. He could have just been, memories, it's been 20 years. But he certainly was staring at a parking meter and saying something to it. And he could have just been angry. It could have just been, maybe he was entertaining people that were watching him. Nobody else really recognized him, but he was walking up and down. He was walking back and forth on Central Park West, I believe it was. And I'm sure other people recognized him after we did. We saw a bunch of celebrities that day. Vance DeGeneres, Ellen DeGeneres' brother. Who else? What else did we see? P. Diddy, Hakeem Olajuwon, the basketball player. All on the same day in New York City. It was crazy. But Tony Randall was the best. And here he is. That's a true story. Tony Randall. So rest in peace, Mr. Randall. Beloved actor, beloved father, friend and actor. I was actually just saying that, but it's beloved husband, father, friend, and actor. And that's who he is. Wow. Let's take a picture. And like I said, if you're looking for Tony Randall, if you're looking for any celebrity grave and you can't seem to find it, look for one that has more than, say, other graves, because people come out specifically to see celebrity graves. So rocks. And those people just took the rocks from there and put them there, which is fine. I bring my own. But always look for something like, like a flag, flowers. There's going to be more, usually, near a celebrity grave. That's a good way if you're if looking off in the distance. It's a good way to figure it out. But Find a Grave is a great resource as well. All right. A lot easier walking down the hill, I'll tell you that right now. A lot easier. Thanks for watching. Tony Randall, it was a pleasure meeting you when I was young. And you were very Tony Randall-esque in meeting you. And because I grew up watching David Letterman, and he was a staple on Letterman. And so funny. And yeah, rest in peace, Tony Randall. Thanks for watching, everyone. I hope you and your loved ones are safe and loved. Peace out. This is the road going out of the cemetery. Doesn't look that steep, but I'm telling you, it is. And it was quite a walk. I'm driving back down now. But I walked up because I thought it was the opposite way. And it's turning into a beautiful day, getting warm outside.